Where would you like to start? Would you like to go east or west?
Let's go East, man.
All right. So Boston being the number one seed going up against the sixth seed, Indiana Pacers, where, to be honest with you, Indiana was a couple of wins away from being the second seed. So I think sometimes seedings can really cloud our judgment. Boston's going to have home court, but Indiana clearly able to win on the road, right? You get a game seven in the Garden, clearly got to have some things. Porzingis isn't there. Is this Celtics team actually going to figure it out? Is Drew Holiday going to shut Tyrese down? I think there's a lot of interesting things that come out of this. I also think it's going to be a higher scoring series. You mentioned before about playoff scoring being down. I think this is the series that has the chance to be the most points both teams because they're going to go back and forth. Boston loves to shoot threes. Indiana loves to run and gun. I have to stick with Boston. But I actually think Boston is not going to be able to just drop one game to a team in game two and then gentlemen sweep the rest of the way. I actually think they're going to go 6 or 7. I don't. Let's touch base next week when I see how the series has started off. But I think I think Boston will. I think Boston should win. I think they have the experience in this situation. They have the home court. Everything is slated for them to do it. But you can probably hear some apprehension in my voice because there's something about this Indiana team, and there's something about this season where if we had Dallas and Indiana in the finals, and that's your fifth versus sixth seed, it's not unfathomable at this point.
Look, you make all valid points, and you play the most valid point I can take out as what you sort of said was Boston should win. Yeah, but it's not always a team that should win that wins, right? It's a team that grinds it out and effectively shows up better on the night. And the Pacers are rapidly ticking boxes.
Hmm.
Yeah, and this is at least how I sort of go about sort of logically trying to pick a winner in a matchup in that sort of sense. And to me, they are ticking boxes. They're ticking boxes in that they have the talent in Halliburton as an all-star young talent. He's the face of the franchise. However, they're also ticking boxes that he's now brought in their sidekick with Siakam, yeah, who also is an all-star, can drop 20, 25 a night any given time, and ticking a box as an NBA champion. Yeah. And then they're ticking boxes here where now they've played a game seven and they've won. Yeah. And or even though the Knicks were banged up, they go into MSG. It's a crazy crowd, no doubt, a crazy environment in the playoffs here and a game seven, and they got the job done. Yeah, they got the job done. And right now they're riding a high, and momentum is big. Momentum is always big, and I know it's not necessarily from game to game. Yeah, I'm not saying that momentum carries from game to game. Like if you're hot shooting one game, that always carries on to another game. But I'm talking about internal confidence. Yeah, I'm talking about self-belief. Okay, and I think the Pacers have that there. They're ticking boxes in this fact that they got Rick Carlisle on the sideline. That's obviously an experienced coach and not, I don't know, Adrian Griffin. Yeah, not Darvin Ham, maybe. Not that sort of name on the sideline right now that's leading them and making those decisions from the bench. And look, like you said, man, I think this is a dangerous series for Boston here. I'm actually going to go, why not? Let's mix it up. Pacers and seven. Yeah, I'm going to go Pacers and seven here. And I'm going to say that the Boston, I don't know, you want to call it voodoo? You want to call it curse? All right, you want to call it that Tatum ain't going to show up in this series? I don't know. I'm feeling that there's a high probability that might be the case. But hey, if he's tuning in, maybe that's extra motivation that now he's going to, average 30 this series and be the man. Be the man, because arguably he's the best player on the floor right now. Yeah, but can he be
Yep.
the man? Yeah, Tatum has not shown that track record in his career so far.
Yeah, there's definitely an element of he's going to have to not just settle for those sidestep threes the entire game. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I think you make a really interesting point. Like, if Boston were to progress, would it be Jason Tatum hoisting the Eastern Conference MVP trophy that suddenly appeared out of nowhere? Like, maybe not. That's the depth of Boston. You would say that their starting five should outmatch the Indiana starting five, but I also think that point you made about playing from the underdog slot, it's Boston's series to lose,
Mm,
right?
mm,
They're the
mm.
team that really has to like they're the team that's had a clear path to the finals this entire time, and Indiana is just another step on that pathway, and it's the
Yes.
better. It's theoretically the better step, right? New York was a lot feistier if they were healthy, so they're poised to do it. I wouldn't be shocked in a week's time if I'm switching my vote, but you also may switch yours if Boston comes out swinging. So
Hey, look,
let's.
I think that here's the thing. This Pacers getting to the conference finals feels a little bit less luck than like the Hawks that got there a few years ago. Remember that
Mm.
flash in the
Yeah.
pan? The Hawks got all the way
Yep.
to the conference finals, and we said, "Oh, the Hawks are here. Trey Young, Trey Young, Trey Young." And then hell, they can't even cobble up over 500 since then. I don't think in that sort of sense, right? So, but I think this team with those boxes that I mentioned before that they're ticking is actually a relevant up and coming top 10 Eastern Conference team here. Yeah, and look, credit to them, credit to them. Maybe it's Pacer time again. I remember that era. I don't know about you.
Well, there's two eras, right? There's the Reggie Miller
The
Pacers, but also
PG,
the Paul George
correct,
Pacers.
correct.
Like they were the most competitive team with Miami in that stretch. But I guess the difference between that Pacers team and this Pacers team is Boston. Boston is the Miami juggernaut, which Boston's very beatable. I know that they get to the Eastern Conference Finals a lot. I think this is now their sixth or seventh appearance in as many years, but they haven't won anything yet.
Mm,
And they've only been to the finals once. So Indiana's clearly poised. If you want to chuck down some money, you can.